Let's talk about the two main ways you can grow your detailing business in 2026, and that's looking at short-term versus long-term marketing channels. And before we get into the video, I do want to say I probably won't be posting that much like detailing how-to content anymore, just because like over the last year I try to do it, and realistically like there's not much more I have to talk about, because you know, the same way, like if I made a video like how to extract seats 5 years ago, it's still the same process today. Vacuuming your interior is still the same process. I'm not heavy on product reviews. We've been using the same products for years now. So moving forward for this year, you'll probably just see more business content on marketing, sales, operations, numbers, things that actually grow your business, because me talking about an APC or how to wash a vehicle just simply isn't of interest to me, because it's not something that I don't want to talk about that. So you'll be seeing more business focused content, at least that's my prediction, from now moving forward, and maybe in the future I'll be posting detailing content on the Proper Care channel, but that's for the future. There's only two real ways to grow your detailing business. That's going to be something of short term and then long term. Now, when I say short term versus long term, I don't mean, oh, like you're being short-sighted in the sense of like, I'm gonna do it for a little bit and stop. What I mean by that is there are some channels that will simply take longer to take effect, that the snowball effect will be a lot slower, versus other channels that are more immediate. It doesn't mean you can't do the short-term thing forever. It just means how fast you can gather those results. So long-term wise would be something like, for instance, search engine optimization or posting organically on social media. The reason why I say that's long-term is because unless you're good at content or you know what to post, for the most part, you're not gonna post a piece of content today and have your phone blow up with phone calls or emails or form submissions unless you know how to create content, right? If you know how to create like viral videos, or you just create one good video and it takes off. Aside from that, you just need to show up every day and post pretty consistently every day, week after month after year, to build that snowball effect of people in your area that want to hire you for your services based on the organic content that you're posting. So just posting on TikTok or on Instagram, that's long-term posting, because it's not going to be, for the most part, it's not going to be an immediate effect. The second thing, like I said, is SEO, where you're not going to see any results the first 6 months, 9 months, depending in your area, how competitive it is, how good you are at SEO, or how good you are at building your own website. That's going to be very long term. Now, the positive with, let's say, SEO is that once it's up and running after 6-9 months, it's one of the most passive methods of getting customers, because your website is always working for you in the background 24/7. With social media, a great pro to that is that you're not paying for ads. The only thing you're paying with is, let's say, your time, right? Because you have to shoot the content, edit the content, post the content. But once you get more and more videos underneath your belt, you post it on TikTok and Instagram, you keep on building up that library of more and more eyeballs, more and more people slowly reaching out to you. And over time, you have this big library of content that's just generating those leads. Now, there are downsides to that, where yes, they're both technically free, but you are going to wait, right? With SEO, it's 6 to 9 months. Another thing about that is you can't increase the demand. You can only capture what's already there. What I mean by that is, if you are in whatever city with 20,000 people, even if you rank number 1 for all keywords in your area and you're on the local map pack on number 1, you're still gonna have a limited amount of clicks and calls and leads, because you're only in a city of 20,000. Like, you can't, if there's 500 searches per month in your area, you can't change that. Like, that's what you get, because that's what the market allows in your area. Now, if you want a bigger market, you need to go to a city that has more people, right? So if you're in a city that has 20,000 people versus a city that has 1.7 million people, the available market that's searching for things, for services in Google, will be much higher in the larger city, just simply due to the numbers, where in one city there's 1.7 million people. So that means there might be 1,000, 2,000 searches per month for detailing related keywords. versus in the city with 20,000 people, there might be a couple hundred searches per month. So even if you're number one across the board in the smaller city, you're simply going to have a much smaller amount of searches, which means a lot lower amount of leads coming into your business, because you're working with a smaller market, versus if you're in an area with 700,000, a million, 2 million people, the numbers are simply going to be different. So that's a downside to SEO. Same thing with social media, to where even if you have a video go viral or you're consistently posting, you can't really dictate where that video shows. Yes, you can mention your city in your videos, you can maybe geotag it. But again, if you have a video that gets 1 million views, probably 99% of those views are gonna come outside of your market, and you don't have control over that, right? Even if you have videos that consistently get 10,000 to 100,000 views, you can't dictate where those views are coming from. So even though people are reaching out to you asking for a quote, they're interested in your services, they might be, let's say, 45 minutes away, 3 hours away, or just completely out of your state, which obviously at that point, that doesn't matter at all. So there's good and bad things with everything. A few other examples of kind of long-term marketing channels would be something like referrals and word of mouth. The reason why I put that there is, again, if you said, hey, I want to grow my business to 5,000, let's say you're at 0 and you want to get to 5,000 a month. You can't say, I'm going to grow strictly off of referrals in the next 3 months. Because in order to get a referral or to get word of mouth, you need to already have customers coming into your business on a daily basis in order to create those referrals and word of mouth. So you can't really amplify it by your own accord in terms of like, okay, I have 0 customers right now, and in 3 months, I want 50 customers, all by referrals. Well, you can't. What do you do for that? Yes, you can give incentives. Hey, if you refer me someone, I'll give you a gift card, or if you refer me someone, I'll give you, X amount of dollars. But before any of that happens, you already need to have people coming into your business. That way you can actually create that referral engine and get word of mouth and get referrals. So that's why that's a long-term thing, because as you get more customers, as you do good work, as you improve your customer experience and you're able to produce better and better results, more and more people are going to refer you to their friends and family members, or you simply just get more repeat customers. So that's why it's a long-term thing, because you can't just turn on the faucet and take things off with your business simply by referrals and word of mouth. Now, short-term marketing channels are going to be things like ads. Now, there's a lot of kind of avenues you can go, because if you're looking at the Google assets, you have Google Ads, which are the sponsored links. You have LSH, which are local service ads. That's also another method. Then you have Meta ads, which is running ads on Facebook and Instagram. Now you can do other things like Yelp. I just would not advise that in the smallest bit. Do not put any money into Yelp or Thumbtack or any of those other kind of third-party lead generation platforms. Don't put any money there. But that would be more short-term. Again, not that you can't do that forever, as long as it's profitable and sustainable. But more so is that if you start spending $30 a day in ads today, you'll have a lead and a customer within the first 7 days. If you know what you're doing, if you're good at creating creatives, if you're good at optimizing the backend campaign, you can have a customer within the next 4 days. If you're spending at minimum $30 a day on ads, whether it's Meta ads or Google ads, if you know how to, depending on what platform you're using, but if you're spending money on ads, if you're spending $30 a day to $50 a day to, let's say, $100 a day, in 4 days you'll start booking out your schedule, because you are targeting your ideal customers. You can't say, hey, the way I run Google ads is the same way that I run Meta ads. They're two completely different things. But if you know how to, for instance, you have to learn how to create a landing page if you're using Google Ads. You have to know how to create copy. You know how to have to optimize your Google Ads campaign in itself as far as the back end. If you're running Meta ads, you have to know how to create the creative, which is the video. You have to learn how to properly script it, how to target your ideal audience inside of your script. You have to know how to create some very basic but decent copy inside of the ad itself on what they read. So all these things are going to be completely different between Google ads to LSAs to Meta ads. But if you're able to crack that formula, and you're spending, again, minimum of $30 a day, within a week you're going to be generating leads and you're going to be booking out customers. So that's why I consider that short term, because it's a lot more instant. Instead of posting every day for, let's say, 6 months, in 1 week, spending $30 a day, you're gonna start generating leads. You can start following up with people, and assuming your sales process is correct, assuming everything else is correct, you'll start getting customers on the schedule within a week. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna say, oh, well, if that's the case, then I wanna do ads. Now, the thing about ads is you're spending your own money, right? If you spend $30 a day for, let's say 7 days, that's $210 that's out the window. Now, again, let's stick to meta ads here. If you're writing a proper script, you know how to shoot a video, you know how to edit it, you know how to call out your ideal customer in your video, you know how to properly set up the backend campaign and make sure everything's optimized properly, and your sales process is dialed in so that when a lead actually comes in, you can actually get to them in the fastest time possible to close them. You'll do fine. Like you'll make your money back. Like you will be profitable, assuming your pricing is correct and all those other things. You'll be profitable, and that $210 will convert to $1,000, making up numbers, right? Whereas if you don't have everything optimized and you're not too sure of what you're doing and you don't know exactly what you do, but you just start spending $30 a day, well, that $210, you might only make back, I'm just making up numbers here, $100, and now you're out $110. So when it comes to running ads, whatever platform it's on, a lot of detailers get the making it profitable and sustainable. You can run ads to book out your schedule and still not make any money. You can run ads, get so many leads, book out your schedule, and yet you'll still have to turn them off because you can't afford it anymore. So that's why that's I don't want to say scary part, that's the nuance to running ads, is that in order for it to be a long-term play, like let's say you never want to turn off your ads, so you want to run them for 12 months out of the year. In order for that to happen, your sales process has to be dialed in, that every lead that comes your way, you're able to close, or you're able to reach out to them within 3 minutes of them submitting the form. You're able to send out a quote and get them booked in as quickly as possible. You have to make sure that your pricing is correct, because again, since you're spending money to get these customers, you have to make sure it all makes sense mathematically in terms of, hey, we're spending, $95 to get a paying customer, and our average ticket price is $115. Well, there's not much spread in that. So even though you are getting leads, even though you are booking out your schedule, there's not enough margin in your numbers in the delivery of the service for you to actually be that profitable. So even though you are booking out your schedule and you're making money, your bank account is like, man, like it's not going up. Like it's still very thin margins. Whereas if you're able to book a customer for, $95, but let's say your average ticket price is $395, now there's a lot more margin in those numbers to say, okay, that makes total sense. I spend $95 and I make $395. And what I mean by that is like, there's a few key metrics you can look at. When you're running ads, you can look at, depending what you're running on, cost per click, cost per lead, which those are you can look at those numbers, but the real number you need to look at is like your cost per booked appointment, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're getting $5 leads or $10 leads. What really matters is how much do I pay to get one customer. So when I say $95 per customer, that's disregarding how many leads we're getting. What I want to know is if I spent 95, whether we generated 3 leads or 10 leads, if I spent $95 to get one customer, how much did I make back, right? So that's what goes back into your sales process of, well, if you get one customer through ads, right? And let's say it's an introductory service for $200. I'm making up numbers here. Now, when you get to the job site, you have to, and I don't say this that you should always be upselling at all times for every service. So when you get to the job site, and hey, we're out here for whatever service, right? Hey, by the way, since I'm already here, I see that your headlights are a bit foggy. Would you like us to restore them? Typically, it's 140, but since I'm already here, we can do it for 100. You need and assuming that you're still dialed in on all your pricing, because again, you don't want to upsell an unprofitable service to still be in the same situation. But these are the things that you have to look at with running ads to make it sustainable. And what I see with a ton of detailers is that they simply don't do it this way. Like they don't know their budgeted hours, they don't know their hourly rate, they don't track anything. They just see a number, it's booked in, and they think they're making money. And again, we can all run ads to generate leads and have a booked out schedule. All of us can do that. The key difference is, can you make that sustainable and profitable? We can all turn on meta ads. We can all make a video and get leads coming in. We can all do that with little effort. The key difference is, can you keep that campaign running for 30 days over the next 6 months? And over the next month, you increase it from $30 a day to $50 a day. And from $50 a day to $75 a day. Can you not just sustain it, but can you actually compound your campaign to scale it, to generate more leads, to grow your business while still being profitable? Again, we do not care about simply saying, hey, I'm getting a $7 leads. That's fantastic. Nobody cares about that. How much are you spending to get a customer? And are you actually making that profitable? Because if you can spend money if you can spend $90 to get a customer, and your average ticket price is $500, you can keep that running all day long, all year long, because the margin is there. Again, assuming all your other numbers are in place, because you can have a booked out schedule, you can be making money, and then your profit is still razor thin, your bank account is still nothing because there's no margin in the numbers. Now, another short-term channel you can look at is, let's say, door-to-door. I've never done door-to-door. I would never recommend doing door-to-door. I don't see that as a viable option for detailers specifically, because like, you know, if roofers do door-to-door, okay, well, like an average ticket price is like $20, $30, $60, $90,000 for a new roof, especially if you're like a storm chaser and you're just going city to city or state to state chasing these crazy storms. The average ticket price is there to do door-to-door. If you are selling some kind of service plan where, you know, it's a one-time sale, but then over the next year, it's like $1,000 in value and you keep them for 2-3 years, well, now the value is there. Whereas with detailing, if you're doing door-to-door and you're selling, you know, $200 details, like this, it's really hard to make the math make sense long-term. Now, again, you can start, you know, going door-to-door and just offering your services, or you see a neighbor and you recommend your services. But it's very hard to scale, because the biggest thing you have to make sense is the numbers. If you sell, like, even if we go back to the ad side, if you're booking a customer, if you spend $100 to get one customer, and your average ticket price is $150, the math simply just doesn't math. You don't have enough margin in there. Now, let's say you spend $250 to get one customer, but that one customer is a full body PPF for $7,000. That math makes sense all year long, because you are more than happy to say, I'm gonna put $250 into this machine and I'm gonna get back $7,000. You'll do that all day long. So that's why understanding the numbers to see if it actually makes sense, if it's actually profitable, is it's the essential part to running ads. Of course, like, you should know your numbers to this degree across the board, like whether you're doing social media, SEO, whatever. There's a big difference though when you're actually taking your money and putting it to a machine. It compounds the effect that you have to know what you're actually spending and making and what your numbers are, because again, you're actually burning money by paying ads. If you're, you know, with social media and SEO, like, yes, you're spending your time, you're investing your time into it, but it's not money to where like, oh, like I just lost 200 or 700 or 1,000. Like it just, oh, I posted a video, it didn't do that well, that's fine. Or, oh, I created a website, but I'm not getting customers yet, so, you know, that's fine. But when you say, hey, I spent 400 and got 2 leads and none of them booked, that's when you feel it a lot stronger, because like that's your actual money that just went into, you know, the abyss, and like you're not getting that back. And if you want more in-depth training on growing your business through sales, marketing, and operations, you can click the link down below to access Detailers Growth Academy. That's where I upload all my business training in terms of creating your own website, optimizing your Google business profile, optimizing your website for SEO, understanding your numbers, and learning how to actually price for profitability. Everything on the sales, marketing, operations is in that academy. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link down below. Or if you want me to personally market your business or to help you one-on-one with coaching services, you'll find that link down below as well. And that's gonna end the video right there. If you are interested in joining the academy or wanna hire me for coaching or marketing services, those links will be down below. Talk to you on the next one.